The
subject is
reading.
The subject is reading. The teacher selects a passage
Everyone turn to chapter 4.
and then selects a student to read that passage out loud.
Dickie Zavakis, please begin.
big blue skies open wide, sunlight bounces off my eyes. If I shut them tight,
And then the
light
next student
still
repeats the
gets
passage.
Big blue skies open wide, sunlight bounces
And the next,
off my
until it is my
eyes.
10-year-old
Big
father's
blue
turn to
skies
repeat the
open
passage, which he
wide,
recites
sunlight
perfectly to the
bounces
very
off
end.
My eyes.
Big blue skies open wide, sunlight bounces off my eyes. If I shut them tight, the light still gets through. It's a warm night. My father is playing under the street lamp with the other boys from Fairview Avenue. One by one, the others get called in for supper. My father lets himself into his house. Brushing his teeth makes his gums bleed, and nobody's checking, so he just goes to bed. In the morning, he puts on the same clothes he wore yesterday.
way up high, out of reach from you and me, sits a golden palace. I have no map, I have no key.
The Golden Palace is located just over the horizon. You can't see it, but it's up there in a high up, out of reach, top of the world place.
There inside are scientists and mathematicians,
Destined to lead the way.
My father is an excellent mimic.
Everyone turn to chapter 8.
If the teacher calls him third, he can recite the passage.
Quiet down.
If she calls him last, he can recite anything that has been read aloud that day, until one day he feels a hand touch his shoulder.
Please begin.
Everybody is waiting for him to read, and he has to say in front of everyone,
I can't.
My father is working second shift at the GM plant. He finishes the bologna sandwiches that my mom made for him and solves the last squares of the crossword puzzle. He still has some time before he has to return to the factory floor. He fishes an old unemployment check stub out of the pocket of his coveralls, takes his big pen, and begins to write a poem, like Tom in the glass menagerie in the warehouse, writing on the back of a shoebox.
there inside are novelists and fine musicians,
Building great works of art.
I'm home from school on winter break. Speaking of, my dad's in school too now. How about that?
We're both gonna get our masters at the same time.
I'm organizing some boxes and papers, and I find the old check stub with the poem written on the back in his handwriting. Dad, this is good. You can really write.
No, I can't.
The Golden Palace is where the beautiful people and the great thinkers of this and previous generations convene to bask in each other's brilliance and to create all the great works of art. It's all going down in the Golden Palace.
Michelangelo's David,
To Kill a Mockingbird.
The X-Men.
Yes, great work, worthy work. And the people that populate that place and pump out those important paintings and poems and pieces are deeply intelligent, stunning, clean, privileged people. There is no room in the Golden Palace for girls like me, girls who come from what I come from. I see my hands resting on the keyboard of my laptop. I look past my hands and the keyboard, and I see through the panes of my studio window out into the sharp winter woods. I am typing this sentence at the McDowell Artists Colony in Peterborough, New Hampshire, where I have been granted a residency to work alongside some of the greatest artists and writers on the planet, to write the words you are listening to right now. It hits me.
Thornton Wilder wrote Our Town here.
Oh, my cursor blinks at me. I try to relax my brain, my hands, to write.
I can't.
I check to see if cell phone coverage is squeaking its way through the New Hampshire woods and into my studio. On my Facebook newsfeed, someone updates their status with this quote from John Adams to his wife, Abigail.
May 12, 1780. I must study politics and war, that my sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy.
Everybody is waiting for him to read.
My sons ought to study mathematics and philosophy, geography, natural history, naval architecture,
We're both going to get our masters at the same time.
in order to give their children a right to study music, painting, poetry.
I have been granted a residency at the McDowell Artists Colony. I feel a hand touch my shoulder.
Please begin.
Please begin.
Please begin.
There is a golden palace. It's a Chinese restaurant located at 321 Nashua Street in Milford, New Hampshire. It's not over the horizon. It is not out of reach. The Golden Palace is anywhere we make it. It is anywhere we make anything we want to make, and there is room for all of us. Illiterate boys, the poets that they become, awkward girls with big faces and big feet and strange ideas. We all belong here. My fingers begin to move, to pluck letters, to arrange them in order.
The
Subject.
Is
Reading.
Big blue skies open wide, sunlight bounces off my eyes. It flies fast and tight the lights.